Hello, I'm Gary Graver, and this is a Gary Graver movie. Now, I had the idea that well, I've directed about 20 feature films. I'm sure you've never heard of any of them. They've all been released into theaters or straight to video or cable or various places, but without publicity, without the giant machine to publicize everything, no one ever hears of your movies. There are like hundreds and hundreds of these movies every year being made. And like Orson said, what we're striving for is perfection. I was a bit of a film snob, you know. I read all the magazines from Europe and everything, and I'd only see silent movies and European movies and the masters and everything. Well, that's not so bad. But I set out to be a director, and the first thing I learned from the distributor was, Gary, can we put a little nudity into it, and we can distribute this? Well, that's been going on forever, and it still goes on with a lot of people. I've tried to make good pictures. I've tried to develop good stories. I've had some mutilated, ruined, reshot, re-edited, etc., just like Orson and some other people. So, but the only reason I want to show you these scenes from various films that I like, and some scenes that were re-edited to make them stupid, and to show you what my work is like. I started out as a director, I said, and then I had to go to Vietnam as a cameraman in the combat camera group of the United States Navy. When I came out, I became a cameraman because everybody in town wanted a cameraman, but everyone wanted to be a director. So I found by working as a cinematographer, I could be on a lot of film sets, and I could actually, some of these guys didn't know what they were doing, I could direct them myself, and eventually get the projects done that I'd like to. At the end of this little program of short scenes, I'm going to show you a scene from my first movie I ever made, and then the first film I was ever hired on as a director. But now I'd like to show you something, a couple of scenes. As Orson told me that Howard Hawks said, and Howard Hawks said, I want to make scenes. I'll make the studio 5 scenes. If I can do 5 good scenes, I'll make a couple of bad ones that they want. Well, I think all of Hawks' scenes were good, and I think even the movies turned out good. So naturally, if you make every scene good and edit it all together, isn't the movie going to be good? Not necessarily. When I was a kid growing up, of course, we didn't know what a director was. We just watched the movies. We thought the actors made everything up. And I thought that because people took the time, the energy, the wherewithal, and the money to make a movie, it's got to be important. I mean, it's got to be good. I was later to discover this wasn't true. But we have a lot of fun making movies. I've always just had so much fun. And as Claude Chabrol said, happiness is movie making. And it really is. And I'm lucky to have worked these last 35 years. As I say, I've directed about 20 pictures. I was directing one right now in the year 2004 called Drowning Woman, starring Gillian Kestner, my cohort, partner, wife, etc. And we're shooting it on video right now because that's the new trendy thing instead of 35 millimeter. But most of my work has been in 35 millimeter. You can watch this video in bits and pieces and turn it on and off because they're scenes, as I said, they're scenes. My love, of course, is working with actors, and I've got a list here I'm going to read from. So my acting coaches were Douglas Fowley, a character actor. When I first came to Hollywood, you've seen him in a dozen movies. He was the director in Singing in the Rain, and he did a lot of movies anyway. Then I went on to work with Jeff Corey, Charles Conrad, Lee J. Cobb, Bruce Dern, and Lucille Ball. And Lucille Ball took over a class from Lee J. Cobb when he had to go somewhere. And she said, which was the pivotal point, nobody's going to help you, Gary. You got to go out and do it yourself. Find a way to do it. Make your own money. So I started with a short, and then I got that played in a theater. I was very young, and I got the movie played and released by a company called Union Films, and it played here in Los Angeles with a Buñuel film called Viridiana. We played for a couple of months. Every night I would go to that theater and watch my little short movie. I was on my way. Or was I?